Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel JavaScriptBrew, and this is our 8th video on ReactJs series, and today I will be covering ReactJs refs and the hook called useRef in a functional component. Okay, let's see what is ReactJs ref. Okay guys, so if you see the documentation, right, so you will get to know ref is something which is reference from your DOM, or you wanted to access your DOM using ref. So basically React will provide you the facility where you can access the DOM data. Basically you can access the value of your input box, or if you have a div which carries some kind of value, you wanted to access that. And where and in like most of the time you will be rendering through your states, right, ReactJS state or props, right, there you already have access. But some scenarios, if you are using some third party library, or you might be not having access to your forms, right, so in these scenarios you will be using refs. Okay, one thing about refs is you should not use too much. Okay, so avoid using too much refs, so we'll come to that. And also like try to use state so that you can re-render whenever there is a change in your state, right? So because refs do not provide that facility, if you change the refs value, it will not basically update your or re-render your DOM. Okay, so even you can read through your documentation, and it even says like where all we can use this. So if you wanted to have a focus on your input box, or you wanted to have a text selection, or you wanted to have like when you are playing with canvas, or you are playing with the media playback, right, you have that video, right, so you wanted to click on that, and like basically you wanted to define a custom buttons, right, play, pause, next. So all of that control you can use ref, right, so that it will give you the reference of that particular element. Okay, and so that you can do further events on that. And like if you are doing the animations, or if you are integrating with the third party DOM library, right, so basically if you are doing something with jQuery or any of third party library which generate a canvas directly for you, and you wanted to access that canvas, also you wanted to do some you wanted to also do some event on that. So in those scenarios you can use these refs. So sometime a lot of confusion happens when you actually use refs. You will think of, okay, how, when can we use state, when can we use ref. So this is the specific points I have told you, when to use ref, when to use your states to do your job, right? Okay, so you can go through this. So let's jump back to our demo. Okay, so let me take one input box, right, so to have a very small example. So let's give a name and id name. That's up to you if you want. So how can you use the ref? So there is a hook called useRef which we're going to use here to achieve that reference. So let me define that useRef. So whenever you start writing, you will get this useRef hook, right? So now as you have imported automatically and you have this variable available, so how can you attach it? So if you wanted to attach, so there is a very simple technique. So you just need to give this parameter called a ref, and then you have to just assign it here. So these two are connected now. So as this particular component I've created here, so let me import to app.js. So I've created this div here. As we know how to import, so we have to just say ref demo, right, it automatically import for you. Right now if you go back and see the demo, so you have this particular input box here. So what you can do, you start writing here. So you still see the test, but so I have not consoled anything here right now. So but if you wanted to still see if there is a ref hook attached to this particular input box, so you can go to your ReactJS tool, right, dev tool, and you can just navigate to your component which you have just imported there, right? If you look at here, so there is something called hooks, right? So if you're able to see here, and then that ref1 basically, so the reference is that input box. So now to know how is there any kind of attachment, or do we really getting any kind of value, so what we can do here is, so let me attach an event here on change, right, handle change method. So let me define handle change here. how can you get this value? The reference is connected to your input box, as you already see. So now what you can do, you can console this ref name, right? So just see that what is there. First of all, I know I can get the value directly, but let me show you what all we can see as and when we start writing. So let's say test space, so you start getting this reference of this element. Now you see the reference of this element. So what you can do, so you can get everything about this element. So this element can be anything. Now if it is a canvas, if it is a video, or if it is an input box, or if it is a text, or basically a div or h1 tag, or anything, any element which you have in your HTML, right? So you wanted to get the reference of it, so you can use this method. So as we have reference now of this particular element, so what all we get all of the data from this particular input box. So all the data is available here, you can make use of it now. So like focus, or you wanted to have a values, or you wanted to do something with it, right? So, or maybe key events, right? Like if you start typing, you wanted to get the key value. So anything that sort you want, you can get that. So let me do that current dot value. Okay, so now as we have reference connected to it, so that we can get this value now. So if I start writing now and clean my console, okay, so now you see I have this test event coming up here on the console. So as you start writing here, you see the value is coming here because of onChange, right? So the onChange method which is consoling this. So now I said you in beginning, so if you try to update your refs value, right? So but it will not render your DOM. So if you come back to our demonstration, so let me define a variable called demo text. Okay, so let me have this empty. So every change, right, even though I'm doing the change, I'm getting this value. So if you console this instead of this, right, so you console this, you will have this value, right? So if I do something here, right, still see that. But now if I try to run this on my DOM, let's say I have this h3 tag and I try to run this, right, nothing, it comes here. And every time even I start typing something, that particular DOM will not update, right? I said you in beginning, right? So this ref have a disadvantage where it cannot update or re-render your DOM. Okay, so re-rendering will happen only because of if your prop change or if your state change. In my previous video I already told you about that. So let me take another example of ref. So what can we do here? So we can enhance this, right? We can enhance a little bit here. So what can we do? In general, you do not have one input box, right? Let me clean up. So let me not clean up. Let me create one more file here. So ref with form. Okay. So let me have another file, rsf. Okay. So another component we are taking here, and let me just comment this here so that we can use the another one. Okay, so ref with form I'll import here. Okay, so now let me define a form here. Okay, form element. So I'll remove this action. Okay, that form can have different values like input, a colon, text. Okay, you can have name, age, right? Similarly you can have IDs like that. Okay, so now you have these form values. Like, can we use ref here to access these form values? Yes, so we can say form ref. Okay, so I'll just use that hook, useRef. Okay, so I have this form ref, what I will do, I will attach it to this form. So instead of attaching to each and every input element, what we can do, we can attach it to form. Okay, ref. Okay, so this is how we should attach. So now how can we get the value? So let's add input input submit, right? So there will be a submit button. So when you submit this, your form will submit basically. So you need to attach an event called on submit, right? Handle submit. Okay, const handle submit. So you know how to create event, basically event methods here, right? So handle change is the method which I have attached on the submit. So what happens here, every time you try to click on the same submit button, right? So this event will trigger. Okay, go back, let me clean my console. So I'll say test. Okay, so you see one issue is happening here, it is keep reloading and you have this in your URL. So let me prevent that part, prevent default. Okay, so now I have prevent default here. Okay, let me console log form ref. So basically every time I submit, I wanted to have the value of my form reference, right? So now I'm not getting things in URL also, but my page is not reloading now. Okay, because of prevent default. That you might face that issue. So now if you see this form, right, so you have this form reference and you have this input name, input age. So basically now you have all of the child element available with this form ref. Okay, let's go back and try to access the value of one of them. This is how you get the values. So you need to define the name. So you see here, right, you have a hash name. So basically the name of that particular input element dot value. Okay, so now let me clean this up, click on submit, you get this ASD here, right? So similarly you can also get the value of your age. So now if you click on it, you will get the age 3. Great, so we are here, right? So we able to get our values, right? So on submit, if you wanted to clean this up, you can also do that. So that's so easy. Like, okay, how can we focus? So as I told you, like we can also use refs for focusing on one of the elements. So let me create some buttons here. Outside button on age, focus on name. Okay, both button I will connect to one of my event handler on click. So what you can do here, as you already have a ref, right, so you can just copy this part because you already know how to access this particular element. So you have to just say focus. So basically if you are accessing the element, you also access their methods, focus. Okay, same way we can copy paste and use event handler age. So right now if you go back and see, you have 2 more buttons. Let me have some gap here. Okay, so you can see these 2 buttons here, right? So as and when I click on name, it will focus here. If I click on age, it will focus on age, right? So this is how you can use focus using refs. Great, I think so far understood about the refs. Now the next part I told you, you can also access your h1 or div tag values. So how can we do that? Let me keep one more file. Okay, ref. Okay, so let me define one h1 tag. This is ref element. Okay, so now as you already know, so we have to just define text ref. Okay, useRef. Great. So you need to just connect here. Okay, so ref. Now you wanted to get this value every time, even this value change, you wanted to get that value. So you can use effect. So every time, right? So I said you if you are not passing this empty values here, okay, if you pass empty value, basically it will run once, like first time when you actually render your component, but you want to do this every time if value change. So you can remove that empty array, and then you can console log test ref, right, dot current dot inner text or inner HTML, so both will work. Now let me connect this here, div ref text demo. Okay, so we have this imported here. So if you come back and see this is a ref element, and also you can see here, right, this is a ref element. Okay, so that means we able to access this information on your console. So you can also pass that to any of your API or something like that. So this value which is static on your h1 tag, right, so this static on your h1 tag, now you are accessing this value, right, and you can do something with it, like if there is a number in any kind of, there's a number inside your div element and you wanted to do some calculation based on that, you can also do that. So about refs, I think we are pretty much clear here. So if you have any questions, you can ask me in the comments, and also you can join my channel on Telegram, right? So thank you everyone for being on the video and following up this series, and I will come up with new video on high order components, and stay tuned guys. Thank you so much, and please do like this video and subscribe my channel. Thank you. Bye.